Hey, back again, and this time we're gonna do a book review. I wanted to get to this because I just barely finished it, and it is Halloween. So today we are talking about Too Near the Dead by Helen Grant. And Helen Grant should have a much wider readership than she actually does. She is perhaps one of the best writers of Gothic fiction that's existing today. Full disclosure, I met Helen Grant, I think in 2018, 2019, before the pandemic. Brian from Swan River Books had a festival called the Dublin Ghost Story Festival, I think was the name of it. But anyways, he had a lot of the smaller publishers of weird fiction, Gothic literature, that type of thing. Everybody met in Dublin, and we got to talk about ghost stories. And yeah, that hardly sucks. I just wanted to get that out of the way so that you knew, because, yeah, I would say that there's a bias there, but I'm unafraid of there being a bias because this work is just that strong. 2 points that I want to get out of the way, just like the things. The cover always bugged me just a little bit, and I'll put a scan of it up over here so you can see more closely what we did. I love the bottom fonts. We'll get Grendel in the action. Vanna White at Grendel. The bottom font with Helen Grant is, I love this, is especially with this, I think it's a cemetery top piece. I've heard her talk about these. The bottom font I love because it kind of gives you that old 70s type of thing. But that font combined with this font, it just seems unbalanced. Like, this is, I don't know, this is a little too weak and looks unbalanced compared to there. That would, you know, when I'm only quibbling about the cover design and very minor things on the cover design, we've got a strong contender here. And if you've read my reviews in various journals, you know, I absolutely hate people that give away the plot, you know, do nothing but rehash the entire book for you. So you have no enjoyment of discovery before you ever reach it. So, spoiler free, there will be one spoiler. I'll put it at the very end. We'll pause so that, you know, and it's not even a spoiler. It's just an observation. But you'll know just from reading the back. This book concerns Finn Monroe, who is a copy editor living in London, and she meets a talented writer named James, and immediately they fall into a tumultuous kind of relationship. This is laid out through the course of the book, interspersed in the chapters. They're looking to escape from London due to the high cost, various other factors, and they discover their dream home in Scotland, in Perthshire. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who knows? The Scottish. And there is nothing better than Scottish people Twitter on Reddit. Let me just get that out of the way real quick. So if I screw up any pronunciations during this, it's understandable with the Scottish people. I don't think they know how to pronounce half the crap they come up with. But anyway, so they buy this house, and the house is brand new, yet Finn starts having nightmares the chapter opens with one of the most horrifying descriptions I've ever read. And Helen Grant gives Poe a run for his money with the dream sequences within this book. It's one of Poe's favorite topics, and it's done. Probably Poe would be the only rival in these descriptions. They were just, when you read novels, there's not a lot of times that you're actually like, holy crap, like that sense of dread that a movie can build up most times. A lot of modern novels aren't good at sustaining that level of dread. Helen Grant is masterful at her sense of pacing and dread and conceiving of situations and descriptions that are so visceral. They literally place you within the action itself. And these dream sequences, you understand why Finn is terrified to go to sleep in the house. At the same time, she's very good at setting up the relationship, not only between Finn and James, but Finn and the community that they've moved into, because James is working on his next book, so Finn is interacting more with the local community than James is. And Helen Grant is very skillful at giving that sense of being an outsider in a small town. It doesn't reach Shirley Jackson heights because I feel as if Helen Grant's a little more sympathetic to the small town residents than Shirley Jackson was. And but she does manage to give that sense of being an outsider, and it's conveyed very beautifully. But what you basically have here, almost a haunted house novel, but all houses are haunted by memories. And the other thing that's going on, and it's told right on the back of the book blurb, is that the house, which I believe is called Bardub, but it's Dubh. And like I said, who knows with the Scottish, that that could be doink as far as they're concerned. But anyways, this house was built within the past 3 years, so it's a new house. So typically when you have a haunted house novel, you're gonna have it where something has occurred within the house that's currently standing there, and they're almost all haunted house novels and ghost stories in Western canon are mystery novels in a manner of speaking. And the great thing about Too Near the Dead is Helen Grant is so aware of the traditions and the tropes of Gothic literature that she's able to take those, modernize them, and play with them. So you normally don't recognize them except in hindsight. Once something has occurred and you've read on a few more chapters, you'll go, oh, that's where it fits in. So it's very clever in that sense. The other thing is, though I did not do it, I'm being honest here, this would make the perfect toilet book. You know what I mean, the one that sits on the back of the toilet and you read a chapter every time you go in to drop a deuce. Most chapters in here are very short. You can read them very quickly. Boom, done, on to the next one. Which the great thing is, with her skillful use of merging timelines and events that are going on, these small chapters, they keep you in anticipation for what's going on, but they add new layers. So by the time you return to the initial topic that had you so interested and wished she had just stayed on with that, you're already interested in probably 2 other timelines that are occurring at the same time. And yeah, her sense of characters, her sense of place is very well done. The whole book, strongly recommend. I mean, we're in October. You need a good Gothic novel to curl up with and enjoy. And right now, I don't want to spoil anything. There won't be spoilers, but I just want to make one other comment on this book. And I would say go out and buy it immediately, read it, enjoy it, and have done with it. But if you've already read it, this is where I think it gets interesting. So I'll put a little pause in here. And if you haven't read it yet, you can stop it and then come back later or whatever. You probably don't want to listen to me ramble about it, but I understand. So back in a second. Okay. So the one other quibble I have with this book, and it's hardly even a quibble because everything is subjective when it comes to people's choices and reading and entertainment and that type of thing. And I don't want to give anything away, but I actually kind of wish Helen had ended Too Near the Dead 1 chapter earlier. Because the ending of that second to last chapter was... yeah, I would have to blurt that out if I said it. Good googly moogly. That was an ending. I mean, that right, full stop. If you're into doom music, you know Bell Witch's stuff. It would have been the Bell Witch of modern horror. It's just, whoa, blow your socks off. That said, there is one additional chapter which I can understand, and like I said, this is all subjective. Different people will like different stopping points. But there is that additional chapter which to me just kind of, I don't want to say weakened. It kind of disseminated that just sheer terror that was going on. And I love the definition that terror is when you see the doom approaching, and horror is when you see the effects of that doom. And if it had ended 1 chapter earlier, full stop terror. So that said, oh my god, wonderful book. Even though I know Helen, don't take that as like I'm so biased, I just want you to run out and waste your money on something that's not good. Probably one of the novels of the year. I mean, there is a reason that every Christmas I buy Kathleen one of Helen Grant's books as a Christmas present. She knows they're coming. And unfortunately, I think now I'm out of a back catalog. So grab this, grab Helen Grant's earlier stuff. It's all amazing. Love it to death. And like I said, if I can only quibble about, I think this font's a little weak and unbalanced with the rest of it. I mean, the book design is beautiful. That cover design just, and once again, totally subjective. I have no idea why that is. And ending the book one chapter earlier would have been blown away. As it is, still blown away. Incredibly strong book. Incredible writer. Great back catalog for you to explore if you haven't seen it yet. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. But I'm not surprised. Anyways, love you guys. Thanks for listening to my incoherent ramblings. And see you next week. Bye.